Well, hey there guys, I'm Axel the Beast, and this is the Curiosity Shop, the ZeldaEngine.net video mailbag where I answer your Zelda questions. Our first question comes from CornGP47. Do you think Majora will be in Skyward Sword? No. YoLink asks, do you think Skyward Sword will replace your favorite game in the series? I think there's a very good chance of it. In fact, I pretty much anticipate it. I'll be surprised if it doesn't trump Majora's Mask for me. I mean, I still love Majora's Mask. That's going to be a great game for all time for me. But it does look like Skyward Sword is going to be funner for me. And, you know, some might say that's a very premature assessment. But I think they've shown us enough of the game. And admittedly, it's a lot, though I don't think it's going to be, like, over half the game or anything. But they've shown us enough that I think I can make that call reasonably safely. I mean, I'm not saying I won't be wrong, but... And be sure to tell me you guys if it's the same for you guys in the comments or not. Legend Valkyrie asks, what one thing are you looking forward to the most in Skyward Sword? I would probably say, for me, be sure to tell me your guys's, but for me, it's just being able to wander and look for items and find new places and fight enemies, just do random stuff, meaningless stuff, and it'd still be fun just to run around and do things like that. As well as, of course, it being fun when it's connected to the main plot as well, of course, you know, not just when it's meaningless. That, or potentially being proven right on all of my theories. You know, either one. Hylian Musician asks, what weapon or item in Skyward Sword are you looking forward to the most? You know, there's a lot of cool new items, and of course there's the upgrade system, so there's all these variations of the items we haven't even seen yet that look like they're going to be awesome. But if I had to pick an existing incarnation of an item that we've seen, I'd probably pick the bombs or the bow, just because there seems to be so many cool added functionalities to both classic items. Being able to move while you aim with the bow, being able to pocket, you know, bomb flowers, or, you know, bowl the bombs. I just think that's really cool. LinkFan0405 asks, at E3 they showed an HD Zelda game preview on the upcoming Wii U. Do you feel the need for the upgrade to HD Zelda, or do you want Zelda to stay the same? You know, this is something that I think is kind of a, no offense, a silly question, because, you know, HD isn't going to change Zelda. That's just a graphical upgrade. It's just another resolution. It's just another way to display what we already see, you know. It's not like it's going to be, like, realistic graphics. No, you can do stylized graphics. You can do the freaking The Wind Waker in HD. It's just HD. It looks better. It's just better, period. It's better. There's no, like, this will change things, it could be bad. It's just a better resolution that can display all the same things and more. So, you know, no issue with it going to HD. I think it's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with it. Darkflyer Vladimir asks, when talking about timelines, I've heard that about the adult timeline and the child timeline. Do they mean the game is adult-oriented, or the game is following an adult Link? Neither, actually. This is a common misunderstanding, the one I actually kind of had a little bit when I got introduced to the timeline stuff. Basically what this means is this takes place, the timeline split, you know, between the two timelines happened with the end of Ocarina of Time. And this is confirmed by the developers now. This is no longer like a fan theory or whatever. And it's basically that when Link defeated Ganon and then went back in time, or was sent back in time, he created two timelines. The adult timeline is what happened after he defeated Ganon as an adult. That's where the name comes from. And after that, the Wind Waker happens because Ganon was sealed in the Sacred Realm. He comes out later, etc., etc., etc. Whereas in the child timeline, it's after Link got sent back to it as a child, hence the name, and supposedly stopped Ganon from even coming to power, and thus Twilight Princess happens. So yeah, that's how the timeline works. It has to do with what state he was in, you know, like which of the two times, adult time or child time in Ocarina of Time. Eric Android asks, if Tingle were to appear in Skyward Sword, what role do you think he would play? Chaz of Nation asks, I've heard a lot of talk about how long this game is, but there are only 4 dungeons. Does this mean the dungeons are very big, or are there a lot of things occurring outside the dungeons in the game? Yeah, they've definitely announced all of the dungeons, and shown all of the dungeons in the game already, a month from release. You know, they haven't released all the dungeons or announced all the dungeons, but I do think that there's going to be a lot outside of the dungeons, a lot of side content. When they're saying that it's going to be like 100 freaking hours, they're not talking about just the story, they're talking about all the side content. So, yeah, there you go. Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask asks, could you please clarify if Ganon will be in Skyward Sword? I personally find it very annoying when he's not the main villain. What do you think? They pretty much confirmed he's not going to be in the game, though they have said that the game will somehow explain or lead up to some kind of explanation of why he appears in Ocarina of Time, why he rises to power, or why he, does what he does, or something. They haven't really been that clear on it, but they have directly said he will not be in the game. So take that to mean what you will. As for, your second part, I don't mind when he's not the villain. Some of my favorite villains of the series aren't Ganon. But, I just think it adds a little more variety, makes things a little more fresh. So I think it makes Ganon himself fresh when he appears again, because, it's been a little bit of a break. I think it's nothing wrong with it. Red Deku Scrub asks, how many hearts do you think Link will start off with in the beginning of Skyward Sword? In the first 15 minutes of gameplay, the combat trailer, and other screenshots of the beginning of the game, it shows him with 6 hearts. Is this just because of the demo, or do you think Nintendo starts Link off with that many hearts because the game is more difficult? Yes, you do start off with 6 hearts in this game because it's harder. Some of the demos and whatnot have given him more because it was so people could try it out, I believe. Not struggle through all the demos and whatnot. But yeah, you are going to start the game with 6 hearts, so yeah, that's pretty interesting. MK Ultra, this expression on an emoticon, asks, okay, so speculation has been going around that Lord Ghirahim is not his own man. If that whale monster thing that kidnapped Zelda is his master, then why does he have to be resurrected when he is already alive? He could be another Zant, but that would be pretty disappointing considering all the popularity he has gotten over the past months. What do you think? Well, I'm another big fan of Ghirahim, and I don't mind the idea of him being like another Zant, as you put it. I think he's going to be like a Zant, but he's going to be like way more detail put into him. For the record, they've confirmed he's trying to revive his master, and I do support the theory, although it is little more than a theory, that the big black monster whale thing is his master, purely because, Link has a dream about it before he even goes to the land below where anything bad happens. Why would he have a random dream, a prophetic vision, of some random freaking monster that, has no importance? It's obviously something important. And my first impression is that he's somehow his master in an incomplete form. Either he's limited, he can't go in, light or something, just something odd like that. Some kind of special limitation or imperfect, incomplete form. Or something, still sealed. That's kind of what I'm thinking with it. I don't know what it is, I just know it's not some random monster. Link wouldn't never dream about it. It's some kind of big influence, I think. Awesome asks, Skyward Sword seems to be quite similar to Shadow of the Colossus with the idea of a stamina bar. Do you think that you'll be able to upgrade your stamina meter like in Shadow of the Colossus? That might come into use against bosses, i.e. if you don't have enough stamina, you'll have to start over. I feel like this would be a great way to create a unique boss fight for Zelda. I don't think it's going to have a lot of climbing on bosses like Shadow of the Colossus. I don't think it's going to be like that, what you're thinking. I do, however, agree that it is interesting that they have the stamina meter like Shadow of the Colossus, and I also do think it would be interesting if you could upgrade it. But at the same time, I'm skeptical that that will happen. There may be stuff that makes it so it regenerates faster rather than you have more of it. I think they may have almost confirmed that, or at least there was something about like a potion or something that makes you not run out. I can't really remember, and that would be an interesting. I'd expect to see something like that. As for expanding the meter, though, I don't see that happening. Zelda Kid 4141 asks, do you think that they will do something similar to the Golden Bugs or the Gold Skulltulas for Skyward Sword? If so, what would you want it to be? I don't think those are very similar at all, but they have confirmed something kind of like the Golden Bugs in that you collect bugs and you use them for potions. As for the Gold Skulltulas, like this long, drawn-out side quest, I'd like to see something like it. As for what it would be, I have no idea. But, yeah, that would be cool to see, and I think we're going to see a lot of things like that in Skyward Sword. The Ed7797 asks, what are your thoughts on the new lake that was shown in the new Skyward Sword videos? Do you think it turns into Lake Hylia, or could it be part of that part of Faron province of Twilight Princess with the fog? Because that looked kind of like a dried-up lake. I don't think Lake Floria is going to be anything related to Lake Hylia, particularly because it's in Faron province. That's about all I have to say on it. It's part of Faron province, it's not part of Lanayru province, thus it can't be Lake Hylia. I'm pretty sure we're going to see, like, some kind of prototype of Lake Hylia, but this is some unrelated lake that happens to be in Faron province that we've never seen before, or something. I don't think it's related to that misty area you brought up, though. That's just, they're two different areas. Alright, last question. Dragoon Reviews asks, we know that there are 3 locations on the land, a forest, Faron Woods, a volcanic valley, Elden Volcano, and a desert. Since the locations are named after the light spirits from Twilight Princess, should we expect the desert to be called Lanayru Desert or Ordona Desert? Well, there's only going to be 3 light spirits in Skyward Sword, probably because only 3 light spirits are indicated to have stopped Dark Interlopers in Lanayru's backstory that he gave in you know, Twilight Princess. So I think Ordona would be skipped because Ordona was largely important, and they even claim in the game that the Ordon province isn't really part of Hyrule. So I think it's going to be Lanayru, and I don't think it's going to be Lanayru Desert. I think it's going to be Lanayru province, and the desert's a part of it. It looked like there was an ocean or like a massive lake in that province, so maybe that'll be Lake Hylia or Lake Lanayru or whatever. So I don't think the desert's going to be called Lanayru Desert. Maybe it will be, but I don't know. We'll see. Alright guys, that's it for this time. Be sure to send your questions to the contact page in the description, and I'll see you guys later.